I'm going to go ahead anyway and call this meeting to order. Our council meeting, our town council meeting for the town of Edmonston. If we could all stand for the pledge to the flag. Rick, are you ready? I'm sorry.
Do you say something? Text and make sure that that's the
I'm
case.
sorry. I went
No,
right.
I don't have it. I'll put it in.
I'm sorry.
I'm not home.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And as always, and Happy New Year, I'd like for us all to just pause for a moment of silence. Thank you. Again, welcome to the town of Edmonston's town council meeting. Welcome back, everyone, to this new year. Town council members, town council member Betsy McCulley, town council member Sarah Turbeville, town council member Coney Serrano, our staff members, Ed Hooker, Rod Barnes, Miss Avery Gray, and our Chief of Police, Mr. Eric Beal, and Councilmember John Johnson, who hasn't made it, and Rick Gray. And I know I saw Councilmember Marcus Monroe from Brentwood signing on. Is he?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah, let me make my screen a little larger here. Oh, there he is. Okay. All right, welcome. I'd like to open it now for public comments. I don't know that we have anybody on this great evening for public comments, but I want to open it anyway. Might have someone on the phone. If not, we will move on to new business, and that is the approval of minutes. The work session meeting minutes, as well as our regular session meeting minutes. Are there any questions or comments on the meeting minutes? If not, I will accept a motion for the approval of our work session meeting minutes as well as our regular session meeting minutes.
I'll make the motion.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Ms. Serrano, for your motion, and second by Ms. McCulley. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you so much. That motion passes. The next item is, Mr. Barnes, the review of the 2024 calendar for our centennial events.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. Avery and I wanted to just kind of go over some of the things. As you know, we have started our centennial year celebration, and the countdown continues on our website. If you haven't looked at the website, please go on the new, improved, exciting website. Asha and Jessica from NTI worked on and designed with input from lots of folks, but it's really vibrant. And so we are counting down. Our first big event, besides getting out our centennial calendars, hopefully everyone is enjoying those calendars, and we got them out to every apartment and every home in town. So that was a great thing. We've got some good feedback on them in terms of the information that's included. And so hopefully everyone during the year will be using those calendars. Our first big event for the Centennial is Black History on February 24th at 5 p.m. wine and cheese event at Town Hall. We're honoring Black residents. So Avery can explain a little bit about the video work that she's doing on that. Avery, if you would.
Sure. We've interviewed about 15 residents, community members. We've even had some who have prepared their own statement, and they basically give us their history of living in town. When they came here, maybe the activities they've been involved in, something about their career, as well as sharing what the town was like then, how it's evolved, how welcoming was the town. We just get a sense of what Edmonston has been like to live here for the amount of time they've been here. So we're putting together a piece that will include some of those snippets and bits from not only residents, but also from some of the Black-owned businesses to kind of get their take on being a part of the town. And we also want to perhaps include those from the clergy, maybe Jubilee, a church in town, and maybe some comments from Reverend Carter, who's been to the rec center for quite some time. So along with that, we are doing a piece on Plummer. We've had this very long interview with the great grandson. I may add one more great, or may need to add one more great. Fowler, and we're going to do a piece on Adam Plummer. So we've got that in the works, and we'll have a rough cut of that over the next week. And so that'll be also part of the event. I also want to get comments from the council and get their take and do their piece. We've had you all do something last year on the Black Shirt, and it won't include Bass Reeves, but thank you, Bessie. But we're going to get, but we'd love to hear you all provide your comment and promote that the centennial year as well as the event.
Asha will be working with each of you. Mayor, she's going to try to do quarterly activity with you in terms of Mayor Minute videoing, and then she's going to work with each of the council members to do promos and talk about some of our different and staff. She's going to use staff too as we promote and work towards our centennial events during the year. I won't go through all the list, but we came up with a really great idea to add summer concerts in the park. We've been wanting to do that for a long time. This gave us a really great reason to do that. So in June, July, and August, on a Friday evening, we're going to be doing a concert. In June, it's focused on Juneteenth, so we're going to focus on Black artists, and then in July, it's on Americana, and we're going to focus on patriotic and that kind of thing. And then in August, it'll be Hispanic as we start up Hispanic Heritage celebrations. And so we're very, very, Avery's excited. I think I'm excited about those too. And so I think that'll be a fun thing. We have a series of videos that's going to debut throughout the year that Lindsay Gray is working on, and those will highlight various components of the centennial. So we're very, very glad that's going to occur. We just this week, Chief, we haven't even had a chance to talk to you about it, but we talked about trying to do something special for Bike to Work to focus on Officer Smith's ride, her bike ride, and then doing a walk or bike ride in town on Bike to Work Day that day or that evening on that Friday. So we'll be talking more about that. Jamila's putting together a Green Fair and Pet Fest in July. We have our first Friday. We're going to do a car show with community forklift, and we're going to focus on a model car from each decade of our 100 years, hopefully, as part of that. So I think that'll be fun. Our Unity Rally in September will focus also on mental health, obviously, but we'll be focusing on a component of the centennial all during the year. Our summer reading program, summer program for book bags and schools, uniforms and school supplies, those kind of things, will focus on something connected to the centennial for that. And Avery, am I forgetting? I'll talk about.
Edmonston Day.
Yeah, and that's right. So Edmonston Day. And also Avery forgot to tell you, she has forged a partnership with the high school. Please talk about that, Avery, because that's
Yes,
really
yes, because that's also hopefully will be part of not only the Edmonston Day, part of the parade, and then performing, but I've been in touch and connected with the band director and the choir director, and saw a concert that they had over the holidays. They're quite good. They're really building their program there, and they're trying to get further exposure. And so for Black History Month, we want to tape them and include it in the video. So I'll be meeting with them on Thursday about that, but they also have agreed to be part of the parade and the festival. So we'll have a marching band and the parade. Yep.
we're so
Parkdale.
excited.
And the choir
Parkdale,
performing.
yeah.
Parkdale High
Parkdale.
School.
So we're really, really excited about that. We've invited the governor to the Edmonston Day festivities and the parade. Asha has to keep reminding them on the calendar, but we're hopeful that he will be here for that event. We talked about, and please correct us if we're wrong, but because we want to do either fireworks, and then recently the mayor and I talked about if we could do a drone show versus the fireworks, might be fun. And so we're going to research that. But
they did it in Baltimore as well, just recently.
Okay, so maybe our airspace isn't a problem, so that would be good. And it'd be different and not something. The drone show I saw at Dollywood before Christmas was they did the drone show for about 10 minutes, and then they ended it with the fireworks that lasted just a few minutes, which was quite cool. But we're thinking of starting the parade at 3 p.m. that day, so that we go into the dark hours, so that either the drone show or the fireworks is in the dark. And so that way we'll get to the park about 4. Vendors would be in the park from about 4 to 8, and then about 8:30, according to Asha and the schedule of darkness, that's when it may occur. So Avery's got the request in for the big stage. We'll start doing she's got the carnival rides requested. Start talking to other people we got the stilt walker people looking. We just got
Pursuit wagon. Those are folks who have
the foam party.
The foam party, the slip and slide party, and also the fire truck.
Yeah, and we have we just got a suggestion that some China from Operation Arts gave us, is that there's a person that they have available that will do characters, dress up as characters, and could be in the parade. So we'll have Spider-Man or Superman or whatever. I don't know what the characters would be, but
and also some homegrown local talent too, to include our first dog in town, Taz, who can, salute with the Bladensburg ROTC. We've got I'll be talking to Diane Marshall to get her on board. I'll be talking to Coney to get some information I can, to see if I can entice your dad again. With a great voice. and others who we can uncover. And also Mr. Parks, Bob Parks, he sings with a gospel group, and so he is going to look into their availability to perform as well.
Eat your cookie, okay?
So we have some local talent as well as other stage acts. I'd like to get an instructor who can maybe lead the town in line dance, and some other things that kind of engage the entire crowd. To
And
perhaps
yeah, and Asha has done, or she's developed a seal for the centennial year, and so we're going to look at how we can reproduce that either in a coin or an ornament, issue an ornament for Christmas time with that seal on it. And that also led to a discussion from Councilmember McCauley about, could we take a look at redesigning, since we're revamping and redoing with the new website, new signage, new logo in terms of the E with the leaf. Could we look at a new seal? So Asha is going to incorporate that all into that process. And then I think the two last things I want to talk about, Mayor, and I know we got other things to talk about tonight, but I just really am so excited about the centennial. I hope everybody else is. It's a really big deal for our community to reach 100 years, and for all of us here to be a part of that 100 years celebration. We'll end with a banquet, whether we do it on the bridge or we do it in a warehouse or wherever. Our big shebang will be a banquet at the towards the end in the fall. And then on Veterans Day, we're going to unveil, we're doing are requesting a sculpture of an eagle, bronze sculpture, and then around that, and they're going to it'll be placed in Veterans Park in the flower bed, the raised flower bed, and then around that will be signs with all the names, each individually, of our veterans that are there here in Edmonston. And so we'll be unveiling that at Veterans Day. The other big project that we're going to unveil from an art standpoint is Operation Arts is working with us to design bicycles to go in the rain gardens down Decatur Street. There'll be 9 of them, and they'll be painted and designed in all different colors. And then on the handlebars and in the on the wheels will be baskets of flowers in the rain garden. So that project will happen and occur early springtime. So lots going on and lots happening in Edmonston for our centennial. We're happy to take any of your feedback, any of your involvement. We'll be knocking on doors to get you to record. And I never laughed so hard over the blooper release on the Christmas greetings that the mayor and council did. That was so fun. I showed it to everybody because it was just hilarious in front of the Christmas tree. You guys did a great job. It was just super.
That was good. That was funny. Any comments? That was a lot. Yep. Thank you. Thanks for working so hard. We appreciate that. You can update us. Update us maybe about 3 months of it. You don't have to go the whole 6 months. Like 3 months is good. Glad you can stretch it out to the 6 months. That's the planner and you guys, but 3 months is good. We can retain that. Yeah. Good job though. Thank you. So the next item is the Port Town Sustainable Plan update. That was like what, last month? They came out.
We're doing our update right now. We'll submit. Mayor Gant's done a really good job of putting together priorities and requests with the Lieutenant Governor's office and then with District 22 legislative. And so all of those things will be incorporated in with Bladensburg, Comer Manor, and Cottage City as we apply for the renewal on our Sustainable Maryland. Once the plan, where the administrators are putting it all together, once we have it together, I'll shoot it out so you can have a look at it and get comments and feedback to us. So
Yes, please feel free. You're gonna like it though. And the next item is our legislative priority review. And I really wanted Marcus Monroe. Marcus, oh, he's here. I really wanted Marcus Monroe to, he's the council member from Brentwood. I wanted him to come and present because he is our legislative chair for PGCMA, and he's been our legislative chair for, I don't know, 3 years maybe. Has it been 3 years? For 3 years, and he's such
Three,
a
three COVID years, yeah.
yeah, 3 COVID year. He's awesome at it. He should be the president, but I think that they're keeping him as the legislative chair because he's just such a great leader at that. So I just thought that he should present our legislative priorities tonight because tomorrow is opening session MML in Annapolis. And so I'm going to allow you to take the floor, Marcus, to present our legislative priorities for PGCMA.
Sure, and I can share my screen as well if that'll make it visually more appealing for folks, if somebody can give me the ability.
You got it.
Oh,
All right, perfect. And so let me know when you see my screen here.
yes, it's up.
Okay, great. So thank you again, Mayor, for inviting me. Again, it's my pleasure to serve as legislative chair this year. So normally, like what we do is, in past years, we've split the priorities between state and county. So I'm going to talk briefly about state and county, and then if at your pleasure, I can answer any questions. So similar to last year, probably last 2 years, we've tried to always go strategically after stormwater management funding. And so we're locking that in as a high priority this year again. And so what that essentially means is anything from stormwater management funding for home programs or stormwater management funding to improve drains in our streets, basically anything under that umbrella, the committee will review it with our legislative consultant, and we typically put in to support it. So that one's a pretty straightforward one. We aren't writing legislation for it. Matter of fact, for all of these, we aren't technically writing any legislation. We're basically tracking them, and we go in to strongly support or oppose or try to put in edits on bills that come up. So I imagine, again, if you haven't heard, I think everybody's heard at this point, there's a budget shortfall. So we know that's going to be a little bit of a tug of war on that. So just keep that in mind for a lot of this. Second, reforms to juvenile justice laws and increasing funding for violence intervention programs. The reason why we wanted to balance that, and it wasn't just a punitive approach where we're just trying to lock people up, we wanted to keep in focus that while we recognize that clearly everybody is concerned about juvenile crime, and I think pretty much every community, I'm sure you guys probably talked about it or had concerns from your residents. It's on the radar of the governor, state's attorney, everybody's publicly come out at this point. That's no secret. So what we want to look to do is support anything that appropriately makes any tweaks or adjustments to any of the laws. But at the same time, keeping in mind that we want to not make better criminals and that we should support them and create wraparound services and try to intervene before there are no other options and before an individual proceeds to create a crime. So that's that one in a nutshell from the state level as well. While this wasn't a priority, we did submit a letter for this last year when it comes to opposing state funding for the maglev system. And it wasn't to oppose the maglev system, it's specifically just to say when the maglev system was first pitched a while back, it was shared from those consultants and various outlets that it would be privately funded. And so we're just picking up our letter of opposition, and this time actually, raising it up to the level of a high priority that we want to work with the House and Senate to make sure that that language is embedded somewhere to prevent state funding from going towards a maglev system. Lastly, from the state level, there's best way to sum this one up is there's always an interest from municipalities to have development that makes sense for their communities. And that varies from community to community and what that means. And what we're going to do is track and monitor and support anything that allows municipalities to have greater control over development in their communities. Probably the biggest spotlight from this over the last year or two has been, for example, tobacco shops popping up out of nowhere in your community. So if you've had that or if you heard residents talk about it, that's a concrete example of municipalities and it happened in mine and several others. So I know I wasn't the only one concerned about it, but from things to housing, economic development, everything always points back to how much local control everyone can wrestle over to make sure development happens right. And that's already got some traction from some bills that have been pre-filed, as I understand it. So as more information comes out, we'll continue to update the municipalities. So the county, we kept this one pretty short with my Zoom window here. There we go. Reducing tax duplication on municipal residents. It's actually recognize that a lot of this came from the mayors really highlighting this one and raising it up and bubbling it up. And we recognize that that was a big concern. And it really boils down to just how do you make sure no one's double taxed, right? So if your town is providing a service, whatever that service could be. So some municipalities, for example, provide senior services. And if you're directly paying for that out of your town and putting staff time to it, residents shouldn't be also paying for county services that you all are already providing. And there's the way it works is there's a list of approved items that can get this on this list of what's technically allowed to be reviewed, and municipalities are paid for those services. And it's a bit of a nerdy process. That's my political language there, but the big thing that comes out of it for residents, the important part is to let them know that PGCMA wants to make sure that the process is streamlined and improved, so that way we can make sure they're not getting overly taxed year to year. And the nerdy phrase, if you ever want to look it up, is tax differential process. So for anybody that wants to go look at a YouTube video later in the night and go to sleep. The last one is again, no, I don't think this is a shock, but this has been a big topic lately, from crossing guards to school safety. If you saw the emergency communication that went out from the county executive, that was a good move in the right direction. And that's an example of something that we would support as a positive move, because this is a priority that, they're going to really put some effort in behind getting more crossing guards. But that's not to say that's it, because obviously the two children that were unfortunately fatally injured in Riverdale, and I think there's no shortage of incorporated and unincorporated towns that are concerned about kids walking from to and there. My kids go to a neighborhood school, so they walk. For example, and sometimes we walk, or sometimes I'll drive them, but we cross the street. So for me, this is a personal one. But the big umbrella is that, again, we're tracking anything that gives us greater control, us being municipalities, greater control over the ability to improve traffic safety near schools. So one example of that, like a concrete example, again, if a resident asks, there's an interest, there's been some chatter out there about the ability to put cameras on stop signs, for example. And something that Brentwood did, I think 2 sessions ago at this point, like we put in a local bill to be able to put cameras within our school zones, things like that. So concrete traffic control measures is what we're looking to support. And once a year we sit down with the county executive, and that's going to be another avenue for us to discuss this topic. So this came up last year with the county executive, and we will try to push this again to say, again, thank you for the emergency communication you sent out, but what can we do to make sure we're partnering to Because again, another ask is residents want to be able to apply for these jobs, but they don't want to, if you're applying in Edmonston, you don't want to get sent to Bowie, to be a crossing guard. So I know I have a lot of residents that are seniors that have the same concern. They don't drive, but they live across the street from the school. So little nuances like that and the crossing guards that really is not as simple as raise the salary and hire more people, because it's a lot of gaps in the system to get this thing fixed. And again, trust me, I know, because we haven't had one in Thomas Stone Elementary School for 3 years. So so with that, I'm going to pause and see if there's anything else, Mary Gant.
No, I really I like these priorities. They were really smart and clear this go round. Any comments from council?
I have a
And I can send this to you all too, if that'll help.
Thank you, Marcus. I just have a quick question, just for clarification. When you were talking about the maglev, was it opposition to private funding or state funding?
State funding, public dollars. Yeah, the way it was initially pitched was that it was going to be all privately funded, and so
Got it.
we supported a bill last year that unfortunately didn't make it out of committee. So
Thank you.
Mhm. Great. Thank you, Marcus, for that enlightening presentation. I greatly appreciate it. We all need to be on the same page, and some good stuff that we'll be supporting. I want to make sure we know what we're supporting, what we're doing there. So thanks. Doing some good work.
appreciate it. I'm gonna go do the bedtime routine with my kids. So
Take care of
thank
the
you, folks.
kids. Yes, two, right?
3, yeah.
Three great kids. We've been watching Sarah's children grow up behind the screens. She has 2, they've been growing up virtually behind us. And Betsy's grandchildren right behind us. So keep up the good work. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you all. Have a good night.
Take care. All righty. Next on the agenda is our police report.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm gonna start off with the code enforcement report. So from Steve, his December report, he helped Kenworth Tire with a fence line cleanup. He also helped give out the notices for the mass towing that we did on, I believe it was sometime in December. I don't remember the exact date. We went on Buchanan Street and we towed all the cars that we were expecting the yellow line, but my line didn't come. So we got to go back to the drawing maps with that one. He also helped with the biohazard pickup that I guess gave out information in reference to a biohazard pickup, giving all the residents whatever information they need in reference to that. And lastly, he checked on the street lights that were out and helped turn most of them on. And then the ones that he couldn't turn on, he documented the light outage and reported it. Any questions from the code enforcement report? All right, now we're going into the police report. So the police report is from the month of December. We've been good with our part 1 offenses which is out of the felony crimes. We had no felony crimes in the month of December. However, we did have 5 auto thefts and 8 theft from autos. So the incidents that's happened in these last 2 weeks won't be on a December's report. It'll be in our next meeting in February or January. The police officers issued 5 parking tickets, 71 moving violations, conducted 100 premise checks, and we answered 158 calls for service in the town of Edmonston. I'm still working on the red light revenue, going back and forth, trying to add the numbers up. So I will add that to the report by the end of tonight, if not early thing tomorrow, and I will send that over to Ms. Avery. Any questions referring to the report for that? Now, I know everybody got questions about these recent robberies. Give me 1 second. I'm just getting an update. So we're actually sitting on the house
Chief,
right now on 49th Avenue.
Chief, before you start that, just to update on the revenue you said for the red light. our speed camera still hasn't produced revenue, but we've met with them. We now have a process where we're going to be having our monthly meetings and reviewing what's going on, and they're working on getting the cameras relocated to the correct spot. We have our first monthly meeting, I think, scheduled for this Friday. Is that right?
It's supposed to be a monthly meeting, or what is it? Every 3 months we're gonna have a meeting.
Yeah, I think it's monthly. The new lady's gonna meet with us and give us the report that shows how many tickets were approved and processed. I do know on the last weekly report that I got Friday, over 136 speeding tickets were processed.
We actually had more. It was like, when I checked the system, it was 700 and something tickets in queue. We processed them all. So we're just gonna wait and see what the next report is.
Yeah, sounds good.
Can I ask a question real quick? Was there any discussion with the town attorney and them about like what's been happening for the past several months and how we
So I
would like to readjust the contract?
I'll be reaching out to him. I found out after speaking to other chiefs who having the same issue with the same company. And our contract, what it says for convenience. They said send it up to the town attorney, let him review it and see what options we have from that point.
So he's reviewing it now?
I haven't sent it to him just yet. That was before the holidays when I found that out.
And we met with them, council member, and they gave us their explanations of what occurred and what they could do better, and they understand that. This is, I think, the first time that they've ever installed the cameras on red light existing cameras. So the red light existing structures was impacting the clarity of the speed cameras, and so they were adjusting for that. And then they did take a look, I believe, at the price they were charging us, and I do believe they determined that they were at a correct price. They weren't going to reduce that at this point in time. And then, of course, they had indicated they've applied to the state to place them in the place where they were originally placed, because part of the impact of them is that they're at the stoplights, and so you naturally slow down for a stoplight typically, and then you're not zooming through it. And so their effectiveness to stop speeding isn't as good there as it will be on up the street in front of Fountain Park. So we did meet with them. We had a good meeting. We got lots of good answers, and I think the next step is, once we get these reports started, which are starting this Friday, going back and catching up, I think the September, October, November, December, then we'll know where we are, and we can then look at going to the next steps with the town attorney.
Okay. Thank you both.
No problem. In reference to the increase of citizen robberies, I plan on having a meeting virtually with the town residents to discuss not only that crime that's occurring in the town, but any other crimes that's going undocumented in the town, to help us get an idea of what we need to do for the springtime, and especially the summertime coming up. I reached out to Chief Collinson from Bladensburg. We are working on a new MOU for his patrol officer to come assist us, and vice versa for our agency to go over there and assist them, especially in situations like this where the suspect did 2 robberies in the town of Edmonston and then went over to Bladensburg. The very next day committed one. He actually did another one today, just on the outskirts of the town at Edmonston and in Hamilton. So he's in the area. We just trying to pinpoint to where he may live at, or like how is he contacting these taxi cab companies. We look back at it. He has numerous numbers. We track the numbers back. They come back to nothing. So at this point, I authorized the Edmonston officers to work till 4 a.m. We've been doing that since last Thursday. We haven't missed a beat yet. I have 2 officers coming in at midnight tonight. Officer Smith and Officer Jackson, they're going to come in at midnight and work until 4 a.m. and do it for the rest of the week. Just to try to curb the increase of crime that's going on, particularly on Crittenden. But not only on Crittenden, they're not just sitting there, they're also bouncing from Fountain Park to Elizabeth Land into Crittenden Street, mainly on the residential side of town, where most of the crime that we're getting notified about comes into place. My next thing is I'll be reaching out to another agency to see if we can borrow maybe a undercover car to post up in, because I think with our steady burn lights being on throughout the town when the officers are patrolling, he's watching that and kind of getting an idea of when and when not to do it. Because I worked on Saturday and I was in town majority of the day. And the one time that I went out to get gas, that's when a robbery took place. So we're trying to come up with different game plans and different tap into different resources to see what we can do to curb this issue. But I plan on having that meeting with the residents, if not this Friday, then definitely Monday evening. Any other questions?
Chief, for those robberies, it hasn't, I guess neither the person doing them nor the victims have been Edmonston residents, have they?
No, most of, if not all of the residents are taxi cab drivers from independent taxis. So it's not a Uber app, is not a Lyft app, because with those apps, you have to put in personal information in order to get that ride. What happens is, what we found out is, if you have multiple cars or if you have a business name and you want to have a taxi company, all you do is apply for your business name to be a taxi, and then you will hire a couple of your friends, say, hey, all you got to do is give people my number. I'll negotiate the ride for you. And then all you do is pick them up and I'll give you the fare from that cut. And so that's what's happening. These individuals work for an independent person who he gets a phone call from somebody. Once he gets that phone call, he sends that driver to that location. The suspect gets in the vehicle, takes him to a dead end street where he commits the robbery. And that dead end street normally leads to a either high populated area like Hamilton Street or a thoroughfare like Kenworth Avenue. And in all the instances, he's been on with a black handgun. He sits in the back seat on the passenger side of the vehicle. He demands the victim's money. The one that happened, we had another one on Sunday, but this one we can't really say it happened in Edmonston. The victim just ended up in Edmonston. He got picked up from Riverdale Park. It was driven around, and I just got the details today in my email. The suspect made him drive around a couple of times. He ended up parking at Hamilton and 47, where the suspect pulled out a gun, demanded the items from him. The victim complied with that order and gave him money. Somehow, some way, the suspect knew that the victim was lying, pistol whipped the victim, and then went in his pocket and took the rest of the money and took off on foot. So we're increasing patrol both on Edmonston side and Bladensburg to try to see if we can either catch him in the act or catch him walking to or from one of these crimes. Anything else? Nope, that's all I have. Nobody have any other questions?
I have just a question that's unrelated, but related to the department. Where are we at with the lieutenant hire?
So with the lieutenant hire, I am actually still in the process with him. He has to complete 3 more exams. I ended up eliminating the sergeant position, and we're going to cut that position in half and make it another patrol position. So what the new staffing will look like, instead of having a chief, a sergeant, and a lieutenant, and 3 patrol officers, I'm electing to go with a chief, the lieutenant, and then 4 patrol officers to benefit the patrol side of it. And that would cut our budget for the sergeant position in half, because the sergeant would have been getting paid, I believe, 65 we budgeted for. Where now it is, I can start a new patrol officer at 52. So probably within another couple of weeks or so, I will have the final say so from the psychological people, as well as the physical and drug test exam. And then I still have to send everything up to the state. But prior to that, he'll meet with the mayor and you guys before I even submit everything up.
Great,
Anything else, Mayor?
great. Sounds good. Thank you. All right, Mr. Barnes?
Just a few items. We did have a briefing from the Prince George's County Emergency Management today on the flooding potential situation. We verified this morning early with Mr. Howard at the Department of Public Works with Prince George's County that personnel would be on board at the pumping station today, and he indicated today, tonight, and into tomorrow morning at all the stations. Sandbags are available at Town Hall if anyone needs them. We've had one resident, I believe, take advantage of that so far, but we can also get more if needed. And Mr. Benilla. I need to update you just a little bit. Our one public works employee that we have currently is out on injury leave, injured his knee at the Christmas caravan and has been out since then. So we brought on board Mr. Elmer Benilla. He lives on Crittenden Street, longtime resident, part-time. He's working 5 hours a day doing light duties such as trash pickup, whatever, cleaning drains. He and Councilmember Macaulay helped clean out the drains on Friday to get ready for the storms from the weekend. And so we'll continue to do that until the resolution with our worker gets figured out what's going to occur with his leg and knee. And then two final things, the water main project has essentially ended in terms of the construction and installation of the mains and the meters. Hopefully everyone in town is noticing static water pressure. And Mr. Johnson needs meeting information, so hang on just a minute. I'll take a picture and shoot it to him. And so now the next step is there is Mike Clare, our engineer, is meeting with WSSC on Thursday to go over the paving process and making sure that they honor our permeable paving throughout town. And he's done that. We've done it already with plans and specs, but I requested the meeting so that make sure that there wasn't any problems and we didn't end up having to go back and do something different. So they meet on Thursday. Avery and I set in, I also requested a virtual meeting on a sewer project. They're doing a sewer lining project over of the main on 46th Avenue. And we're getting everything done from all this attention from WSSC. In the end, it's good, but the inconvenience that it can cause. The great thing about the sewer liner process is that they don't have to disrupt the businesses so much. They'll potentially do it at night. It's just, I think it was 800 feet. They got to do manhole work. They got to go in this week. They're TVing and then determining what they need to do with the lining. The lining is a cool in situ form, came out a few years back, and it's a very cool system because they can rehabilitate an old sewer line and get about 50 more years of life by putting in the in situ form. And they actually heat it up and cook it while it's in the ground, and then they TV it again, cut the individual laterals that happen to each of the businesses. So February is when they're going to actually shoot it, but they did do TVing, or going to do TVing this week, weather I'm sure permitting. They're giving notices to businesses. There could be some smell, so if you get any complaints or concerns from residents, Avery and I both have the contact information for the WSSC on-site people that are going to be there. And let's see, I think those were the main things, Mayor, that I wanted to share.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Barnes. Anything else? That's it? Okay, cool. All right, council. Anything from the council? Ms. Tuberville, no. Ms. Macaulay?
Nah.
No. Ms. Serrano?
I don't have anything. Thank you.
I do have a question. In reference to our general orders, were we supposed to, or maybe we didn't have an opportunity, there was an edit that we had last month, I thought, from our general orders in reference to the wording. Do you remember?
I remember that, yeah.
And
It
we were
was-
supposed to edit and do a final vote on that?
And Eric isn't in his seat. I saw him get up to take a call.
I know we're gonna just have to bring it back in February, but I think we'll have to.
Mayor, I think that was his intent. When I asked him about putting it back on for this tonight, he indicated that he wasn't ready, that he would be bringing it back in February.
Okay, cool. That's cool.
Mr. Johnson still hasn't.
The meeting is over, so. Angela also Brooks has a new emergency management committee that they're looking for some volunteers, or they want to, I guess I'm trying to find it now, allow public officials, here it is. The local emergency planning committee, and they're looking for 1 or 2 elected officials to join this committee. Whereas before, they weren't opening it up to elected officials. Now they're starting to allow elected officials to join these committees. So by February the 2nd, they'd like, if anyone is interested in joining this committee, you will, the local emergency planning committee is a federally mandated entity composed of state and local officials, business representatives, members of the press, so on and so forth, under the Emergency Planning and Community Right to Know Act. You will be a part of, let me see. You'll join the committee, members include, but not limited to. You'll attend quarterly meetings, provide outreach and education, assist in the review of hazardous emergency response plans, and so on. So if anyone is interested, you can let me know and I can forward you this information. Okie dokie. I just wanted to put that out there in case anyone is interested. It seems like it's interesting. What you think? Yeah. Okay, great. That is pretty much all that I have, unless someone is interested in going to opening session with me tomorrow in Annapolis. I have room in my car if you want to drive with me, or if you want to drive. All right, cool. All right.
Oh, Mr. Johnson's in the waiting room. I guess maybe Rick doesn't know that.
All right. That's all I have.
He's in now.
For
Okay.
the order. Does anyone have any questions, comments, anything for me?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, I'll accept a motion to
Mayor.
adjourn.
I think Mr. Johnson got in.
Great. Hello, Mr.
Yeah,
Johnson.
finally. Hello.
Great. Hi. Hi, Mr. Johnson.
Hi.
We're adjourning now.
everyone.
Thanks for making it in. Did you have anything that you needed to say?
No, not really. I was in the bed getting ready for tomorrow. I didn't realize we had a meeting tonight.
Well, it's a nice cozy night to sleep.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll make the motion and to end our meeting tonight.
All right.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Hi.
All right.
Have a good night, everyone.
You too. Good night.
Y'all do the same.